Valentine's is coming and it's very sweet to think of spending time with that special person. But this can also bring a lot of stress thinking of where the hell are we gonna go, what am I gonna wear, how am I gonna do my makeup? And in attention to this last part, on this video I'm going to give you 7 tips to make the most out of your makeup look for your date, so it helps you connect with the person instead of getting in your way. The first tip, I'm sure you imagine already what it has to do with because I mention it all the time in this channel, but it's very important and it has to do with authenticity. Obviously, if you're getting ready for a date, it's completely normal to think of what the person likes, what they find attractive, or what will make you look the prettiest or the more handsome, no problem there. But what is important to remember is that in order to please the other person, you shouldn't displease yourself. And this means both not wearing something that you don't like just because the other person finds it attractive, but also not stopping to wear things that you like just because the other person doesn't like them. With makeup, for example, we know that the taste in every person is very varied, and some people love it and other people don't. Not only on themselves, but also some people do not find it attractive for their significant other to wear it. And so far so good, not everybody has to like the same, and makeup isn't an obligation. But same way that it's not an obligation to wear it, it's not an obligation to remove it either. So if you and your significant other are different in that sense, maybe you like makeup but they don't, that's not a problem, you can be different in that sense, but you shouldn't stop wearing it just because they do not.
Okay. But what if I'm the exception?
No, you're not. You're not at all. In fact, you're the rule.
Remember that it's also important for it to be practical. First of all, consider the weather, the conditions of where you're going to go. Because if, for example, your date is on the beach or in a place with a lot of humidity and heat, even if you normally like to do a full makeup face, it's likely that that day you're going to prefer to keep it more minimalistic than to have to be retouching your makeup every 20 minutes instead of focusing on connecting with your date. And besides the weather, also consider the activity, because this also influences on what products you are okay wearing and which ones you'll be better off avoiding. If, for example, the plan is going to the movie theater and you cry easily on movies, most likely you will want a waterproof mascara, but also think twice before wearing glitters or other products on your eyelids that, if you cry, could get in your eye. Before applying any product, take your significant other into account. Not in a people-pleasing sense, but in a sense of consideration. Because of course it's important to be authentic and you have all the right, but this doesn't mean to not even take into account how you can affect the other person. Which can go from very serious stuff like they have an allergy and you applied something on your lips that caused them a reaction, to even more nowadays things like maybe if your foundation is very transferable, you need to invest in a sealing powder so it doesn't end up in his shirt. Or the typical product that's the most polemic for dates, the lipstick. Because we wear it thinking of enhancing our lips, direct the attention to them, looking attractive, and it's very common to like to wear it in a color that you like and makes you feel self-assured. But it's also important to remember that if the date goes well, most likely the person will want to kiss you.
No. Do you think?
And although it's not the end of the world to give a kiss to your significant other and end up a little smudged, you do not want to make the person look like they made out with the Joker. And besides sealing your lipstick properly and wearing one that's not so transferable, also consider the texture because there are many products that look very well applied, but they do not feel as well if you give a kiss with them. The indelible lipsticks, for example, are very practical because they do not smudge, but the problem is that they tend to be very dry. So if you're not careful to prepare your lips properly before wearing them, the other person can end up feeling that they are kissing a Barbie or a piece of plastic instead of a human being. And if on the other hand you prefer glosses, nothing wrong with liking to shine, but be careful that your product is not so sticky. Personally, I know that men don't like it at all to give a kiss to a woman and then feel all sticky, but honestly I don't think that women would like it much more. And speaking of consideration to the other person, remember that this also includes consideration for their time, in the sense that you should plan your makeup routine with the time that you need, so that they don't have to be waiting forever for you to get ready. Remember that makeup is not for hiding. No! Or at least it shouldn't be used for that, especially in a dating context, because it should help you to connect with the person, not do the opposite. Of course, there's nothing wrong with wanting to look nice, to try to conceal what you don't like so much and enhance your favorite parts of your face. But don't forget that this is not the same as wearing a mask. Because besides considering the other person that you don't want to bury them under a ton of foundation, the other thing is that makeup can help you with your self-assurance and with your confidence, but it should never do this by hindering the other person for seeing you for who you are. Do not obsess. It's completely valid to want to look beautiful, to want to look handsome, and totally fine if makeup is an important part of your grooming. But don't forget that in a date, the connection that you're forming with the person, the fun that you're having together, and whether you are having a nice time or not, is way more important than how you look. And to be honest, if we think of many of the things that have to do with having a good time in a date, let's face it, many of them are just not makeup friendly.
Sacrilegious.
But if we stop to think for another moment, would it really be so terrible if your mascara gets so smudged because your date made you laugh so hard that you cried in your laughter? You really don't want to take joy and enjoyment away from it because of worrying about your makeup. So if you ever saw the movie Young Frankenstein, do not be like his girlfriend in the first scene.
Not on the lips.
What?
I'm going to that party at Nana and Nikki's later. I don't want to smear my lipstick. Taffeta, darling.
Taffeta, sweetheart.
No, the dress is taffeta. It wrinkles so easily.
Oh.
Ah, the nails! Oh.
Sorry.
And lastly, don't forget that no matter what you're doing your makeup for, flexibility and self-assurance are key. Of course, I hope that you have all the time that you need to do the makeup look that you want. But even if you don't, even if for whatever reason you have half the time that you wanted, or no time for makeup at all, that sometimes it happens, do not let this hinder you from enjoying your date. And definitely do not cancel your date just because you don't have time for makeup. Remember that makeup, especially doing in a social context like dating, does help you enhance the parts of your face that you like the most, but it's not giving you anything that you don't have already. So whether you have 3 hours for your makeup or no time for makeup at all, enjoy your time with the person and remember that with or without makeup, they like you already. They ask you out after all. Follow me for more tips to optimize your makeup for your dates. And if this video was useful for you, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so YouTube lets you know when I upload the next tip. And if you wanna color the comment wall, tell me what is the product that you can never miss when you're getting yourself together for a date.